What's happening, Pod Squad? Welcome into an episode of the show, and I'm joined in the flesh today by an angry Scotsman. An angry Scotsman. See? I said I wasn't going to do the...
I try not to be angry.
Well...
I just look angry.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I don't even think you look angry. No, you look totally
RBF.
RBF.
Always.
Resting bodybuilder face?
I try. I try.
That's awesome. Ben Thomson is here. HVAC Strong, local here in Prince George. We're always like super psyched when somebody comes in the flesh. Usually we do this on Zoom.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, this is a lot better. Dude, you're HVAC company, aptly called HVAC Strong because you are not a bodybuilding guy. You're like powerlifting guy, aren't you?
Powerlifting strongman, or ex-powerlifter strongman.
Like you did it competitively?
Yep. Oh,
no
yeah.
way. Back home?
Yeah, so I did strongman for 5-6 years straight, and then switched to powerlifting when I met my now wife.
Yeah.
Because she did powerlifting as well.
Cool.
And did that for 5 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And you're still going? Maybe not competitively.
Definitely not competitively. I can't do the diet nowadays.
That's the problem. I was going to say, like, the
lifting weights is easy. That's the easy part. The diet sucks.
Yeah. All the macros, all the counting, all the measuring.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, let's get into it, man, because even though like HVAC is not pavement, but a lot of people listen to this show are pavement people, but I've been watching what you've been doing. This company, man, it's impressive. It's grown a lot. So your background in HVAC specifically, I'm guessing that you had employment working for somebody before.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that here locally or was that somewhere else?
No, that started a long time ago. So I did industrial commercial HVAC on oil rigs all over the world, basically. Yeah. So that started back in Scotland, and then moved into more like residential, light commercial when I moved to North America. Yeah. And that was working primarily in Seattle to start with. Then I got my work visa for Vancouver because I met my now wife. So I got that all sorted to come up. Worked for a company down there for 2 years and then started my own business after that.
Up here in Prince George?
Vancouver first.
Oh, so you started it?
2 years in Vancouver. And then when we decided to move, I shut that down there and relocated the business. Yeah. And then we've been just over 3 years up here.
So all in all, how many years in HVAC then? Because it seems like you started...
Too long.
Is it? Like back home in Scotland?
Too long. We 16 years, I guess. 16, 17 years. Because I started off doing design and like 3D modeling in HVAC for the rigs.
Okay.
Just a draftsman, CAD jockey in the office when I was 17. And then as soon as I was coming up to turn 18, I kind of said to him, look, I'm bored sitting inside. Because I grew up on a farm, so I like being out. My dad was a general contractor and stuff. I like working with my hands. So I said, okay, I want to go work on the rigs. I see all this cool stuff, but I don't get to actually do anything. Yeah. So they were like, okay, well, if you sign a contract to do your apprenticeship, we'll send you offshore. And then that was, I think I went away a couple of days after my 18th birthday. It was my first trip.
Offshore drilling?
On the rigs, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it was mostly North Sea for the first couple of years, and then I did contracts in, like later in my career, was contracts in like Russia, Malaysia, Nigeria, just all over the place, just wherever there was work, basically.
You've been everywhere. Well, offshore drilling will take a guy everywhere, because I mean, wherever there's...
Totally. Like we just went where we were asked to go. But yeah, Nigeria was different, I think is the only way to put it. And then Malaysia was cool because it was like we were working for Shell. So we were doing like 10 days on the rigs and then, or not even, it was like a week maybe on the rigs. And then we were like 2 weeks in a beach resort hotel sitting around doing paperwork and drinking basically. Yeah. And then back onto the next rig. So it was really nice. And then it was like, 6-week trip and then home for a week or two and then back out again.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Huh. And so your decision to move to Seattle then was basically like, in your 20s, you're probably a single guy, right? So traveling all over the world working is sweet, right?
Well, yeah. When you're single, it's fine. I actually moved to, long story, but I moved to Texas with my ex-wife.
Okay.
And couldn't get a job doing HVAC in Texas. Figure that one out. I don't know. And so I got offered a job in Seattle. And they were like, if you want to pack your shit up and move, we'll give you a van, we'll give you tools, you can start straight away as long as you can pass a piss test. I was like, sure. Like, I've got no money at this point, so
Yeah.
like, sure.
Yeah.
So I moved to Seattle then.
Yeah.
But I mean, Seattle is just Vancouver, right? It's like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you're south of the border, but it's just the same thing. So.
At least you get to fix heaters and air conditioners. I don't think you're fixing too many heaters in Texas.
No, probably
just
not.
doing AC.
But as I couldn't get a job. I don't know. I think it was just new to the country, new green card.
Yeah.
Like, they were a little, not that they really have tickets down there. It's kind of just like learn on the job and get going.
Yeah.
But yeah, just they were very uncertain, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I applied for 70 jobs, I think it was. And
70?
70. And the only one I got a call back from was an appliance repair company, which is like repairing small AC units and like stoves and stuff like that, right? And I'm like, well, no. Like, that's not what I'm here to do.
Man, how long ago was this? Because I feel like
That would have
times
been
have changed.
2017.
Like, is HVAC not dying for people right now?
Oh, every trade. I
So
mean,
if
you
you're a
probably
qualified
feel it as well, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, we were joking about before. Like, there's no trade program for asphalt people. But
Sure.
like, if you want to get a qualified guy to run like a seal coating or run a paver,
Yeah.
good luck.
Totally. Trades are the same everywhere, right? So, like, that's why Seattle, they were like, you can come and start tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. So I packed up a rental car with all my stuff. I drove across America 2.5 days, slept in the car, got there, did a piss test, went and stayed with my now wife in Surrey.
Yeah.
And then, like, a week later, started my job, basically.
Right.
So I just came up, saw her, and then they were like, you can have the job you passed. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Back down. So it was bit of a roller coaster.
Sure.
The last, 7 years? It's been a lot of moving.
Yeah.
I wouldn't advise it. But, yeah, it's, as I said, it's just a lot.
It's a big leap to start your own thing, though, because a lot of people listening to this show are people that want to get into their own striping company, their own seal coating, but it's hard, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tricky one. Like, my dad was a general contractor, so like I grew up in the trades. I knew how business worked. I kind of already had a background in those sorts of things. So obviously, having a family company, you get to see a lot more of the business side of things rather than just work.
Yeah.
And like, because of my background in the oil industry, like I used to run teams of guys. Like in the end, my last couple like jobs were mostly as the HVAC engineer. So basically, I'm in an office. Like, I'm on the rig, but I'm in an office, sorting out permits and job files and all the shit that nobody wants to do, basically. And then in charge of like 20 guys. So I had 10 on days, 10 on nights. So I knew how to organize people. I knew how to, get everything ready and prepare stuff.
Yeah.
And then just like making the jump to a business, for me, I always say to people it was easy. Like, it was easier for me probably than a guy who's only ever worked for someone.
Yeah.
But like, because of my job roles when I worked at companies, they kind of saw that and they knew my background, so they gave me a bit more insight into the background of the business that I was at. Even the company in Vancouver, it was a bigger company, but they still showed me a lot of like how their CRM systems run and, how it tracks this, that, the next thing and all these sorts of things. So it wasn't as big a task for me to start my own business.
Yeah.
But it's just like a lot of guys forget the stuff you have to do in the background, like doing the work. And I put business tips on my Instagram page and stuff too about stuff, but like doing the work is easy. Like as techs, we do it every day. So that's simple. That's the stuff we know. It's when you get into, okay, now I got to do all the phone calls. I got to do all the emails. I got to do the texts. I got to do the estimates, the invoicing, like payroll, like everything else, which when it's just yourself, okay, there's not much payroll to do, but like all of that stuff is the difficult side of things. Whereas like going out in your van and doing the work, that's easy. That's what we've always done. So it's just about, preparing, because a lot of guys will speak to me and they're like, I'm going self-employed. And I'm like, well, okay, how much work do you have lined up? And they're like, none. And I'm like, well, there's a little bit of an issue there, So like my transition into being self-employed was the company I was at in Vancouver. I had moved on from then to another company. COVID was hitting, basically, or starting, and I was going to be going off on paternity leave. So we had saved up a bunch of money for my paternity leave, and the company that I had moved to was kind of like, well, there isn't any work for you because we're not doing anything right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but I still had lots of people calling me to do jobs.
Yeah.
Like a lot of buddies of mine own their own companies in Vancouver, and like plumbing companies, HVAC companies, whatever, and they knew my work. And so they were always calling me to do stuff. So I was kind of doing side work as well.
Yeah.
Although I didn't really have a job, but and my wife was kind of just like, we have all this money, everyone's calling you, why don't you just go get a van,
make a logo?
Yeah, like you've got all your tools, go get a van and just do your own thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so like what I say to most guys who want to go self-employed is start by subcontracting. Usually is a good thing, because when you're subbing, you can just say to them, okay, well, you sell the jobs, you get the equipment and the materials, and then I'll come in and do the work. Because then you've got no overhead, right? Yeah. You are the only overhead, really, right? Yeah. And so it's straight profit. Like you're making money at that point. So it makes life really easy, and that's a good way just to get money rolling. Mm-hmm. And then while you're doing that, you can work on getting your own work as well. So like it was kind of like I did a couple months of just subbing while I got my name out there to everybody. And then kind of as my own job started to roll in, I kind of just phased the subcontracting out. And it wasn't something I really got rid of completely. I still did it for the guys I wanted to work for. Yeah. But just, get your own stuff going. And that's a good way to do it if you don't have work like lined up, right? Because as you said, there's such a trade shortage that, I mean, you could go out on a street corner and get work at this moment. So it's just kind of being mindful of that. Yeah. But I wouldn't just jump into, I'm going self-employed, but I don't know anybody. I haven't made any connections. Because you'd be surprised how many guys do it,
I'm just really good at fixing ACs.
Like, totally. Cool, that's fine. You can fix an AC with your eyes shut. But if you don't have those connections and you don't have any sort of plan, like, why? Like, why are you going self-employed?
It's funny you say that. I say the same thing all the time. Like, the work becomes the easy part. Like, striping parking lots, when I was hiring my first people, was the easy part. And when you start, it's like, well, that's the exciting fun. That's the fun thing. Totally. But, like, it's all the other stuff.
Yes.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about you, I should have mentioned this right at the outset, but, like, you got this, like, cult-like Instagram following. Can I tell you a funny story? Actually, it just popped into my brain. I was trying to think, like, I just love business, right? And there was a time in my life, actually, Ben, where I was, like, I had a job offer at an HVAC company in Fort St. John.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Long story short, I was a maintenance guy at a shopping mall.
Yep.
Loved fixing the rooftop units. That was, like, my jam. And they put me through a Lennox course, and I love HVAC. But I went into a different industry. But when I started my this business I have now, the paving business, I was always listening to podcasts about business, and I found this guy in the HVAC industry, and I'm sure you know who it is. I couldn't remember his name this morning, but so I went into ChatGPT. I'm like, who are the famous people in HVAC? Victor Rancour. You know this guy?
Yep.
He's like, it's like the HVAC guy, right? He's
a
bazillionaire
totally.
Or whatever. So anyways, the funny story I wanted to tell you was, like, I'm trying to remember this guy's name, Victor Rancour. So I told ChatGPT, who are like the 5 most famous people in the HVAC industry? Your name came up.
No.
I'm dead serious. Fuck. Now, I don't know if ChatGPT knows that you and I are in Prince George and it's skewed it, but, like, you're the 4th out of 5 listings, like HVAC Strong.
I'd say ChatGPT's bullshitting.
No, I could show you.
There's a lot of more people I'd pick above me than myself.
No, I mean, you got, like, well over 10,000 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you've carved out this really cool niche, and I wanted to ask you about it, and if this is intentional or whatever. The company is literally called HVAC Strong. You're a powerlifting guy.
Yep.
So a lot of the content I see on your business is HVAC, obviously, but you also incorporate everything else from the powerlifting side.
Yep.
Like, is that intentional?
I mean, to a certain extent, yes. I think, like, lifting weights and being a big dude, because I'm just a big guy in general, is kind of part of my image, personality, whatever you want to say, right? Like, everyone always thinks I'm big and scary and whatever. Like all my employees always get, oh, how's it working for Ben? Because everyone thinks I'm a hard ass. Like I'm a pretty relaxed guy unless you piss me off.
Sure.
Then I can be mad, right?
I think that's most people.
But well, yeah, exactly. But like I don't just walk around screaming and shouting all day, which most like there's a lot of guys who own businesses do, right? But it's just like I think our industry or any trade's job is hard, right? And the most beneficial way for us to thrive or last, let's say, in a trade is to be fit and healthy. Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm the fittest and healthiest guy, because God knows I'm not, but like making an effort to stay fit and healthy in some aspect is going to benefit you. I also think that fitness and just being generally fit is good for our mental health, which running your own business is stressful and leaves you...
Is it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not for you, but it fucking surely is for me. But like being anxiety-ridden and stressed out, and there's depression comes with that and everything else, all the things that I have worked through myself, I find fitness is a way for me to kind of earth myself a little bit. I always feel better when I work out. It's just part of me. It's part of my routine. And so I just incorporate that into my social media because that's a part of me and it's part of my story, right? And so like I try to be as genuine as possible. Whether it comes across that way, I don't know, but I try to be as genuine as I can. Like if I'm having a shitty day, I tell everyone I'm having a shitty day.
I noticed that,
If I'm having anxiety issues, I'm quite vocal about that, right? Because everybody goes through that and there's a lot of stigma, but you know, I was raised in a very strong household of we're farmers and we're in trades, and anxiety, depression, stress is all made up and in your head. I lived by that for a very long time, and it would further the issue in that you're not dealing with anything, you're just compounding it by pushing it down. So it's just been a thing that I have had to work on, and I still struggle with it, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say I'm perfect in any way, but it's definitely something that is easier to deal with if it's spoken about, right? Just because that stigma of, well, you're in the trades, so you must be hard as nails, and we don't talk about emotions, and we don't do this, that, the next thing. Well, I probably wouldn't be married still if I hadn't dealt with it, or or at least made an effort to deal with it. And as I said, there's still lots of times where I suck at it, and there's still lots of times where, you know, my anxiety's through the roof or I'm stressed out, and I will bury that, and my way of getting around dealing with it is to bury myself in my work, because that's the easy thing for most of us, right? Yeah. So it's a thing I still work at all the time. I still go to counseling. I still, you know, do this, that, the next thing, but I still slip up. I've stopped drinking this year, but I still go into, I'm going to have a cider, and then next thing you've drunk a 6-pack, or like smoking too much pot. Like, don't get me wrong, I like to smoke pot, but like it becomes a crutch, and still does at times. I'm not saying it's not something that I've managed to get away from completely, but if you deal with it or go to the gym, that helps. You know, it's that's the only reason that I try to include all that stuff, is just because that's who I am, and I think it's a very beneficial thing. Sorry, it was a long-winded answer.
Dude, I'm not going to stop you. Well, that's an awesome. So you're clearly doing that on social media, which, people are going to absorb that. And you said, like, I don't know if it's genuine. Oh, it's genuine. People will know if it's not genuine. Yeah. Yeah. But
I like to think so anyway.
You know, I don't, based on what you're telling me then, I don't think, you know, the HVAC industry is that different than the paving industry. So the paving industry has some pretty gnarly stereotypes about it, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah, long summer days, and then, a lot of drinking. And, you know, I think as a business owner, we kind of have a bit of an obligation. Like, we're not these, especially if we hire young men, like, we're not these guys' dads. But we're not going to, we also have a bit of a responsibility to give them something to look up to, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in line with that, I want to ask you about that, because I don't know how many people you have, but I know one for sure. So and I actually just drove by and saw you guys having a little meeting when I drove by the shop. What was the moment for you business wise where you're like, I need a person?
Oh man, forever ago.
Was it like this one big stressed out moment like it was for me where I'm like, I'm about to die and split in half if I don't solve this?
I mean, as I said, there's such a trade shortage. I've been trying to get employees for ever, like since the start, basically. Like it got to the point where even before I stopped the subcontracting work, that I probably could have had employees running. Yeah. I've been trying to get steady employees for the longest time. Found employees, they didn't work out, they weren't the right fit. Like, I think it comes across on Instagram or social media, whatever, that, or I like to think it comes across that we're pretty picky in the way we do things, or I'm very picky anyway.
Like with the work?
Yes. Yeah. So like when I interview guys, I make it very clear that like this is the way we do things.
Yeah.
This is the way I want it to be done. Like our tagline is quality is our strength. Well, I mean, quality, like customers pay a lot of money, whatever trade it is, they pay a lot of money for what we do. It will always be that way. And it's only going to get worse because there's less guys. So, like, they pay a lot of money for what we do. I expect from myself and my guys the best possible quality of installation, of service, whatever it is. And a lot of guys don't maybe like that, in that they want to do things their way, or they're maybe just not quite up to where they need to be. And I will make that very clear from the beginning that like you're not meeting the standard at which I would like you to be at, and like this is the things we need to improve on. Or just you get guys who bullshit and they say I can do this, that, the next thing. Well, like I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm capable of. I will also be very open even to my employees if there's something I don't know. I'll just say I don't know and we'll figure it out. Like, I don't know everything, but don't bullshit me and say you can do 20 things when you can only do 10, right? Because I'll find out very quickly. And that's what's happened with some employees we've had.
Dude, do you know what we do for our snow removal operators? It's the funniest thing. So when we put out an ad to like come push snow with us in the winter, you get loader operators. And as you know, around Prince George, like there's all these mines and stuff, right? So no shortage of guys at any moment who are coming off the mine, or they're like sick of working 3 weeks away. And they come back into Prince George and they're like, I just want to push snow in a parking lot. So we'll ask them that. Like, we have a pretty crazy pay scale. It's like anywhere between $26 to $42 an hour, basically. And you will get guys in the chair when you're interviewing, and they're like, oh, dude, I'm a $42 an hour kind of guy, right? And the one thing we started doing with them is we say, no problem. Here's what the standard of what we would expect for a $42 an hour loader operator versus a 35 or a 26. And then we'll tell them what it is. And then at the end of that, we'll say, so here's the deal. If you still think you're a $42 an hour employee, we'll give you a shot and hold you to this standard. But if you perform like this range in the 35, we don't demote people. We're just going to let you go. So you can think about it, but like, do you want to still start at 42? And I'm telling you, like, we've had people in the chair be like, I'll take 36 to start. Because they're like, okay, he's calling me out on my stuff, right?
Well, it's like the majority of guys I get will be like, this is how much money I want. Or I'll be like, how much money do you want? And they'll say this. And I'm like, okay. And I already know what they've told me they can do and what tickets they have and all this kind of stuff. And I'm go, okay, I'll pay you, say they want $40 an hour. I'll pay you $35 an hour until you're done your probation. If you can do everything that you say you can do, and you actually, the things that you say you can't do, and you show me that you can like improve on those things as well as do everything you've said you can do, I'll happily pay you the $40 an hour. Like, I want to pay guys what they're worth, right? I've been an employee. I know how it is. I always wanted more money. That's just how it is. But I also know the work I can do. And I know, and I've been told by the companies I've worked at that my work is really fucking good. So I get it. Like, I want you to be at $40 an hour as well. But I also need you to show me, once again, that you're worth $40, $50 an hour, whatever you want, right? But within that, I'm also, guys are like, I want a tool allowance. Well, I don't pay a tool allowance because if you tell me you need something, I'll just go buy it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about spending money. Obviously, there's a restriction on that, but I
Sure.
don't care about spending the money because if you tell me you need something to do your job, I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you to go buy it. I'll just buy it. If, like, we just set up benefits as well. So the guys all now have benefits.
Sweet.
Like, the guys said they wanted benefits. We got benefits. But it wasn't until we were at the point where, okay, I had 4 or 5 employees that we can actually make it worth having benefits. Same with, like, we just switched to 410s because guys
you're the best boss in the world.
Guys have young kids, right?
Exactly.
They don't always get time off.
Yeah.
You know, we work all week.
Yeah.
We get our weekend off. Well, okay, now you're just with the family. Okay, we want to be with our family, but you also need some headspace by yourself.
Yeah.
So we work 410s. They get the Friday off. If they want to go to the gym by themselves or go for a hike or go for a bike, whatever you want to do, that's fine. It can be your time. And then you have the weekend with the family, right? So, like, the guys have loved that too. Like, as I said, I've been an employee. I'm not just a boss. I've been an employee. I want the guys to feel like they mean something rather than just, I'm an employee, I come do my work, I go home. Like, I want them to come to work and be like, I want to work. I want to be here. I want to do good work. Ben appreciates us for what we do because I do, right? I know how crappy it can be. So I just try to make a good environment for everybody, in an environment that I would have wanted when I worked at companies. Because there was a lot of places I worked where, once again, it was just, you come in, I want you to hammer this out as quick as you can, but I also want you to do the best work possible. Like, okay, that's cool, but you've given me a job that should be 2 days and you've only given me 1 day to do it, right? And there was nights I'd work until 8 p.m. on an install, and then they're like, oh, we booked service calls on you as well for when you're done, right? There was nights I slept in the truck in the parking lot at work because I finished so late.
Yeah.
And it was just like, roll back into the shop, load up for the next day, get at it. And did I complain? Sure, maybe a little bit, but I just got on with it because that was my job. But was it enjoyable? No. And that was one of the reasons I went to my own business, because I was just like, I don't want to do this for somebody else because I know how much money they're making and I don't feel appreciated, right? Whereas I want the guys to come to work and, yes, bust their ass, but for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
So that's just my view on things. Maybe other business owners maybe don't share that sentiment, but if I have to spend more money to make that happen, then I'll spend more money to make the environment that the guys deserve, right? Because they all work hard.
That's good stuff.
Man, it's wintertime right now, which for us at our company here in beautiful Prince George, BC, Canada, it's great because we can go plow snow and make money. But for a lot of you guys listening, you have striping businesses. You don't want to get into snow removal. I totally get it. It's not for everyone. How do you make money in the winter? That is the question. Our friends at Mighty Line can help you. So we are a proud believer, and they sponsor this show for a reason. The product is awesome. So if you don't know what Mighty Line is, go to the website. In fact, I'm going to give you a link where they will actually give you a free sample kit. MightyLineTape.com/stripe it. MightyLineTape.com/stripe it. They're going to send you a free sample kit of some of their most commonly used products. This product can be used indoors during the wintertime in industrial facilities, warehouses. They have custom work, so much stuff that your customers will love, and it will help keep their facilities safe too. So if you don't want to go plow snow, but you'd still like to make money in the winter, MightyLineTape.com/stripe it. That will let them know that you were listening, and they will send you a free sample kit of their products.
Because when I look at the company you've built here, and like, dude, the vehicles look awesome, by the way.
Thanks.
the wraps are great. Very clean image. Everything looks clean. The work online, you guys show everything what you do, so it's very transparent, right? And I noticed the tagline too that you have. So everything is about quality. And have you had to let go of any control a little bit when it comes to that? So you're laughing. So, and the reason why I ask is because that's what happens a lot in this industry. I'm sure it's the same in every, right?
Yep.
So you start striping parking lots and you're like, I'm the best parking lot painter in the world. And then you hire people and you're like, you know, depending on the person, sometimes they just get annoyed that people can't do it as fast or they're not
Totally.
as good.
Yep.
And they have to there's some give and take there because, you know, these people aren't the owners of the business, right? So,
Sure.
well, what does that look like for you? What's the laugh? This is my question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very particular, as I'm sure everyone has already kind of picked up on.
Yeah.
Giving up control in any instance is probably the hardest thing for me because I built this business, right? Like from the start.
Yeah.
The reputation up until 6-8 months ago was mine, right? And so, yeah, I have had to give up control, but also, as I said, I've made it so the guys understand the expectation. I have no qualms in telling the guys to rip something out and fucking do it again if it's not the way it should be. Like, okay, is it going to cost me money? 100%. But would I just prefer it was done correctly? Yes.
Can't have the tagline on the side of the van if it's wrong.
Yeah. Like, it's just the way it is. And I'm at the stage now with the scaling we've done in the last 6 months that I am having to take a step back from the work side of the tool-based work side of things and be more of a desk jockey. Is that enjoyable? No. But is it the way it has to be? Sure. But once again, in order to do that, I have to give up control. So luckily, Mike, my journeyman that I have now, is very good. He once again takes a lot of pride in his work, and even his work has improved so much, even just since he started with us. And I mean, his work wasn't bad in any way, shape, or form to begin with, but he just understands what we're trying to do, and he wants to improve himself as well. So I'm hoping, like, we have a new guy starting on Monday. I'm hoping he'll be the same.
Cool.
But yeah, now that we've kind of got teams kind of getting or coming together, control will definitely have to be given up a bit more again. But yeah, very difficult, especially when it's like, it's your business, it's your baby, you've built it. Like, I think it's definitely tricky. And just taking a step back and being a desk jockey, for me, is hard. Like, I like to work on the tools. I don't like to sit in front of the computer all day.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the tricky part of the process.
If I ask you a question, will you answer it honestly?
Always.
All right. How hard is it to find people in your industry for you specifically? So I know the industry as a whole needs people. No, there's a reason I'm asking is because, well, I'll explain it while you stew on it. I'm in a mentorship group for asphalt contractors. Awesome community. It's called Top Contractor School. It's like 45 people. Good people. And, constantly, if they put up like a poll for the 45, like, what's the biggest challenge? It's always people. It's recruiting and hiring, right? And, I'm not by no means better by saying we've had it easy. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I'm always trying to find great people.
Sure.
We will always hire a great person regardless of the situation because great people don't come around very often.
Totally.
So one of the things I've noticed, though, is some of the companies that seem to be struggling with it, like when you go look at the Instagram or the website or whatever, you can't really get a feel for the company. And when I look at yours, and that's why I had you come here, even though I've never met you before, is I was like, I got to talk to this guy because he knows the vibe, he knows the feel of the company. There's a very clear commitment to quality. And I feel like if you do that, it's a little bit easier to attract people.
Yeah, I'd say... So to answer your first question, to find people fitted for me, probably more difficult.
For you.
For me, I would say yes, more
based
difficult.
on the standard.
And I'm totally aware of that.
It's probably good, dude.
Yeah, but as I said, I'm very clear of my expectations for anybody, even apprentices.
Yeah.
Like, I'll explain when I interview, because I still interview apprentices. I don't just hire somebody and bring them on. Like, it's going to suck. Like, trades suck. No matter which way you put it. It's fucking hard days. It can be long days. It will suck. But in the end, you will feel rewarded. Like, you can get your ticket, you can be a journeyman, whatever, and I will teach you everything I possibly can.
Yeah.
Like, I will give you all the knowledge. Whether you retain it or not is your problem. But I will give you everything you need. But yes, it's a tricky scenario to get guys for me. I think I'm thinking how to word this without downing anybody. I think up here,
yes.
Let me just say in the north, I won't specify anywhere in particular, but in the north, I think it's trickier solely because there's such a shortage of trades, and I would say it's worse up here, that guys are very lax because they don't have to work hard, or they maybe have to work hard. They don't have to put in the effort to get work.
If they mess it up, they can go get a job tomorrow.
Literally, like even like any of my guys could leave me tomorrow and go get a job.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple. But there's just not the drive to be better, like, or even turn out quality work. Like, I know there's certain businesses in town where I've been to a lot of their jobs since moving here, and I've had to sort a lot of messes.
Yeah.
And those companies still have good reputations in town.
Yeah.
Because I also think that people up here don't have the same expectation as as they should. Like, I don't think they have a high expectation, really. They're just like, I need somebody to do it, and I need it done. I'll call whoever. They get them in, it's done. Does it work? Sure. Is it the best? Probably not, but it works. And that's their battle, right? Is just getting somebody. But, like, I just want to be better. Like, even now, I still want, how can we make the business better? Like, how can we give better service or whatever, right? There's just not that same drive. But I also think that's a trade-wide thing now. Like, in Vancouver, God, there's so many companies down there, and there's so many hack companies down there, but they always have work. Like, always have work. And even down there, I went back and fixed so many damn jobs that people had done, but it doesn't matter because tomorrow they're going to have another job to do, right? It's just the business is going to keep getting work no matter what because they're cheap, they're fast, but once again, it's that triangle. If you want to be cheap and fast, you can't be good, right? I'm not going to lie, I ain't cheap. I'm very forthcoming about that. I will always price condition customers. I'm not cheap. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for cheap, I'm not your guy. Like, and I'll be very honest about that. But you will get very good work. Will it be the quickest? We're pretty fast as well. Mm-hmm. Are we the quickest? Maybe not. Yeah. But you're going to get what you deserve, and you're going to get your money's worth out of us, right? And can we make that better? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Do we want to be faster? Probably not, because then you have to give up somewhere, right? There's always that trade-off.
Yeah, we ask ourselves that question all the time. Literally, we had an all-day meeting last week, and we were like, how far out do we want to book jobs? Because if you book them out too short, then you're like scrambling to always fill the schedule. Totally. If you go too long, you're going to lose people. It's a balance, man.
Yeah. We had the same thing last summer. Was it last summer? And that was before I had guys, and we were like booking 2-3 months ahead. It was me and an apprentice, and we're booking like 3 months ahead. Crazy. And people are calling, I want AC put in. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm booking August. And they're like, well, summer's done by then. And I'm like, well, you should have called me in April. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much I can do about it. But also keeping on top of all of that as well, and the planning of everything when you're booking, okay, well, I've got a job that's 3 months from now, but I sold it 3 months ago as well. Like, 6 months in between going to see it and then doing the job, and you roll up and you're like, fuck, I don't remember this house.
Exactly.
Right? Like, the amount of people I see in between that. Yeah. So yeah, it is a very tricky balance of, as you say, how far do you book out, and, or not, as the case may be.
Yeah.
So
well, kudos to you. Like, you're doing something that I wasn't good at. I'm still not that good at. I hire operations people because they're better at it than me. But like it sounds like you hold the guys accountable right from day one. So right in the interview process. So that's something I didn't do. So when I got off the tools myself and people were in the field, our quality went downhill. And I was not as effective at holding people accountable, or even better, setting the expectation before they went out in the field. Like, guys, if your parking lot line looks like this, that's not acceptable, right? But you've been on it. I bet you that's going to help you with your retention too, because if those young apprentices know it on day one, they're going to know it in 2 years too, and they're going to see the work that the other companies do.
Well, like my apprentices now, like Mike was off sick, my main journeyman that I have just now, and I had stuff to do, right? Because obviously I didn't expect him to be off, and I'm like, well, you guys are doing an install, like you guys have to do it because it's booked. Otherwise, the rest of the schedule for weeks is a mess, right?
Bingo.
they basically did the whole install. I had to go help with a few things, but it was literally like, it was a 2-day job. I dropped in for an hour each day to help out a little bit and do stuff that they were struggling with, like building sheet metal or whatever. They did everything else.
They got it done?
Dude, and it looked great. Because, as I said, if it didn't look great, I would have told them just to cut it out and redo it. And if it took another day, well, sorry, you're working your Friday that you're meant to have off, right? But, like, they did great work. Like, they know how it needs to be. And, as I said, Mike is the same as me. He's very like, this is how it's done. And he'll show them how to do it, and I'll show them how to do it. And that's the way it should be done every damn time.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like...
That's awesome.
And just like we make... Like your process is different, obviously, because it's a different type of work. But we use very similar equipment every time. We use very similar materials every time. We have a generalized setup that we do for our installs. Like, you can probably see it on my Instagram as well. All of them look very similar.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the way we do it. So it's very easy then, because I'm like, the materials are in the shop, the equipment's in the shop, go load up. They know what they need to grab. They get to the job. They know how it needs to be put together. So we can keep the quality high, but the time like is also kept the same. So it makes it quick and easy, or not easy, but it makes it fairly quick, because they're like, okay, well, we're doing this and we're using these things, and it's the same today, it's going to be the same tomorrow, it's going to be the same the next day, right? So even as the apprentices, they can see this is how we do things. And as they get more experience, okay, well, you jump in and you do it, and they already know what's going into the job.
Bingo. They can probably go on Instagram, look at the jobs they did before, and be like, oh, yeah,
totally.
That's the way we got to do it.
Like, the biggest thing for us is usually just running refrigerant lines and venting, because those have to get from the inside of the house to the outside.
Bingo.
Like, that's the struggle. Everything else, inside and outside, is identical.
100%.
So if you can get over that, like, you don't have to worry about those things, they're the same.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now we just got to figure out a route for venting and line sets.
Yeah.
And that sometimes is the crappiest part of the job, right? And everyone hates doing venting. Nobody likes it. Like,
I've never done it, but it looks awful.
I don't even like it sometimes. Well, it's just like figuring out your route, and you have to have your grade and all this kind of stuff. So you have to pick the route correct from the beginning, because you can't just go, we're going there, and then run half of it and then go, oh, shit, that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, now we got to tear it out and do it again. So you have to plan that bit out, but the rest of it is simple.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just about creating a process.
Yeah.
You know, processes are always the best way forward. So yeah, it's, once again, expectations. The guys see the pictures, they know what's to be done.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Man, I think probably not, there's somebody in our TCS group who's like 23, 24. A good, like, awesome guy. He's going to come on the pod, actually. And I feel like the younger you are, the more of a struggle it is as a business owner, because you haven't had that experience that you had, being on the rigs, going through the process, getting treated. Probably not great some days.
Oh, yeah.
But that actually helps you as a business owner, man, because, like, when I started mine, like I said, I'm pretty easygoing, and if people identify that, if your employees identify that, not that they'll walk all over you, but it sets the standard for the whole company. And there was a lot of undoing we had to do in my company to make sure that the standard was acceptable.
Yeah. Well, it's like the guys know if I'm in a bad mood or I shout that something is definitely wrong, right? The rest of the time it's like, they'll ask me about something, I'll go, well, it's good, like, it's good enough, like, I'll let it go, but in the future, we can do it this way instead. So next time, just plan a little bit further ahead and maybe do it slightly differently. But yeah, it's, once again, expectations, like you do with kids, right? Because in the end, trades guys are all just big kids. Right, we all like to
Matt laughed.
we all like to fuck around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all like to have a good time. Like, we don't want to be serious all the time. It's just a bunch of big kids. I especially am very immature. I can tell you that from the beginning. So
yeah, but most guys also want to look back at the stuff they do at the end of the day and go, proud of that one.
Yeah,
put that one on Instagram.
But like you set expectations for your kids, right? Like if you tidy your room, you can have a piece of candy, right? The expectation is there. You have to do that to get to this end point. So like, okay, you want to be a manager? Well, to be a manager, you need to do such and such. Yeah. So like, just setting those expectations is an easy way for them to know what they need to do. And if they're not meeting that, it's very easy then to identify it and bring it up to them and be like, okay, you know how I said we needed to do this to get to this point? Unfortunately, you're falling short here. Yeah. So if we can sort that out, like, okay, I want a pay rise. Well, sorry, you're falling short here. If we can sort that out, we can get to the pay rise. You know what I mean? So
you have to do that and talk to the customers and sell the jobs and make sure the truck has got the wrap and find the new truck you're going to need.
Yeah, totally. You know what I mean? But it's just like
it's awesome.
If you can get that going and the guys can be self-sufficient, which is where I'm trying to get to, is having self-sufficient teams, then that removes a lot of the, like, also, once again, giving up control, but it removes a lot of the planning and whatnot that I need to do. If the guys know, once again, these are the materials we have, the pictures are on the CRM of the existing stuff, they can look, okay, I kind of have a plan before I even get there, right? And then that's it. Like, go. Call me if there's an issue. If there's not an issue and I don't hear from you, great. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bingo.
You know?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think this has been awesome. I feel like HVAC and pavement are very different things. I'd say one requires more brains than the other. So
there's not a lot in here, man. There's not a lot in here.
No. Well, paving and asphalt isn't too bad. But I bet you a lot of the people listening, you know, again, a lot of people who listen to this show are like, they want to start the business, or they're starting and they're looking to scale and they're hiring that first person. And it's brutal. My first employee hire was brutal. I waited as long as possible. So even though, now I'll talk to them, even though you might not be in HVAC industry, go check out Ben's Instagram, because you get the vibe very quickly. You can see, and you even just put out a video the other day, like a 2-minute banger about Jobber and like why you switched. That sort of thing will really help people. So, dude, I'm psyched you came on.
No, thank you for having me. It was great.
How are we going to end this thing? What's the best business advice you've ever been given? Like,
dude, I was never given any business advice.
Just go to this.
I've literally made it up as I've gone along.
Like, you want to be like Ben, go work on the rigs in Mozambique or whatever country you were in.
I mean, yeah, the best business advice I could give, let's say, planning. If you can be organized from the beginning, it's very easy to continue that organization throughout. Like, don't just jump into it. God, this bloody phone. Don't just jump into it in the hopes that you're going to have a business, like a business one day, right? Like, even if it's just you by yourself, plan everything out properly, be organized. Like, don't just jump straight in both feet, because getting caught up and getting everything into play properly by the time you are a business is so much more difficult. Like, if you can just plan it out from the beginning, be organized, and 9 times out of 10 that's the hardest part. As I said, doing the work is easy. Have everything else organized and planned, and you should be at least ahead of the game a little bit.
And hit the gym more.
I mean, that's a personal preference, but I mean...
No, everyone should hit the gym more. Yeah. Well, dude, your phone's ringing.
It's all right.
Stuff's happening. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you very much.
Chat.
Yeah, it's been great.
We're going to put all of the places to find you in the show notes. Go follow this guy. He knows what he's doing. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.